Sean Zattel, Radio Raheem, and our guy, Malik Scott, host of Inside the Ring with Max Kellerman, former
Yes.
heavyweight contender and former trainer of Deontay Wilder, the WBC former heavyweight champion, and also was working the corner alongside the coach in Brickhouse Boxing with Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez this weekend against David Benavidez. Malik, man, thank you for hopping on with us, brother. How's everything?
Oh, good, man. Happy to be here with you guys. We've been meaning to get this done, me and Radio. I'm happy we was able to get it done with you too, Sean. Because every time I see y'all, it's separately. When I see Sean, I'm like, yo, we got to get this done. When I see Rid, I'm like, so now, you know what I mean? Look at God.
Well, for me, this is like a best of both worlds situation. I had to get my two favorite analysts together. I'm really just here as a fan at this point. I
Oh,
love
good.
listening to your respective breakdowns. And so, yes, we've been trying to get this done for a minute because, I mean, you're not going to get better than
Then
this
that's right.
when we run the landscape of
That's right,
boxing.
bro. Yes.
No,
Y'all was on
I
into the fights this weekend, I'm sure.
Yeah, let's
then we gotta
start
get
there,
into the
right?
heavyweight division. A few
Yes.
things. Yeah, the pound for pound list now. And by the way, to the audience, apologies, man. Malik is in the office at Brickhouse Boxing, so if the quality sometimes on his end dips, just
Bear
bear
with
with
us.
us. Exactly. So, hey Malik, before we get started about the boxing, man, I just want to let people know how much I appreciate knowing you for over a decade now. First time I met you was at the UNLV boxing gym.
Joe Parker.
You were helping Joseph Parker get ready for Andy Ruiz for that
Yes.
heavyweight title fight, and I just always have appreciated you being a kind giant, a kind big man.
Yeah, bro.
So
Yes, no
yeah,
doubt.
so good to have you on, brother.
Absolutely. I appreciate you, Sean. Uh, since the first time I met you, one of the first things I pick up is people love for the sport of boxing. Like I could smell it a mile away. Some people are in this because for different reasons. I'm in boxing because I purely love it since the age of 12. So I'm able to identify people that really love this sport. And you're definitely high up on that list. And the love created even more of a hunger with you. You never stopped. You became more passionate. I see you on all type of stages and you don't bite your tongue. You speak the truth. And even if the truth can be a bit controversial sometimes, you take risks and take chances. So I always appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, and it's good to see you in a lane that always has made sense for you. You were still fighting at the time, then you
Yeah.
transition. Now you're a trainer and commentator, so
Yeah.
it's good to see you in this lane for sure, brother. But Raheem,
Absolutely.
man, now that I've been giving out so many platitudes, kick us off, man. What are you gonna throw at Malik to get us started?
Hmm.
Well, the low-hanging fruit, the obvious, is we got to start with Zurdo Benavidez. We were seeing you in the corner, the second
Yep.
man there. We have heard your pre-fight analysis, which we're going to keep it real, right? Like, Sean and I were
Yes.
like, okay,
Yeah.
we know you got a relationship. We know you're going to be in the corner. We know you got to say what you got to say. And Zurdo did what I really think was the best he could do.
Hmm.
But now that we're in the wake of this fight, going into the fight, how big a challenge did you know this would be? And what were your real thoughts on what Zurdo was going to be able to do if Benavidez did in fact bring it in top form?
Right. Sometimes in boxing, right? Us as analysts, coaches, you could have a game plan, and then you could take that game plan, and the athlete can try to commit to doing that game plan. But when I tell you, I know this what I'm about to say sound very cliche, but I never mean it more than I mean it concerning David Benavidez's performance Saturday night. Sometimes you have to tip your hat to a guy. There is no excuses. Zurdo Ramirez, if anyone knows Zurdo Ramirez and have seen him fight in any other fights, in high level fights, they would know exactly what I was talking about. Most people that went against Zurdo in this fight and pick Benavidez is because, they really into highlights. Half of these people haven't even seen Benavidez go over 8 rounds. If I'm picking a guy, I'm picking a guy, okay, who have gave this guy the most trouble. And even if they didn't give him trouble, who have took him the distance? Everybody that took him the distance was people that had good feet, they had good timing, and they had good defense. I think what Zurdo Ramirez was missing the other night was good feet. His Mexican heart, he was too close to Benavidez too soon. You can't be in a shell guard with this man between round one and really round 12, but especially round one through six. Zurdo has had incredible timing with everybody else that he fought. Even when he fought Bevo, he had good timing, but he came up short. When he fought Joe Smith, somebody who is an incredible puncher, when he fought Glutamarian and won the title, when he went to Saudi Arabia. So if anyone heard me speaking, they can see, even if they didn't agree, they could see why I would say that. I wasn't saying Zurdo's going to go in there and knock him out. I said Zurdo have some things that can offset the system of Benavidez. But now that Benavidez have shown what he's shown on Saturday, not only is he one of the best fighters in the world, to me, Benavidez is the most dangerous fighter in the world, and I'm including all divisions. I don't. We could talk about Shakors, we could talk about Haney's, we could talk about all these Usyks and guys that's better than him technically. But I'm talking about as far as danger zone. When you're in the fight of your life from round one through round 12, David Benavidez, I've never seen nothing like him before. I've never seen hand speed like that on a consistent basis. I've never seen extension with that hand speed like that. He throw 8 punch combinations sometimes or even more. If he throw 13 shots, 11 of them got heat on it. Usually, the more people throw, the more that that the power is not there. No, he's gritting. I really wish that during the pandemic, I need you guys to listen to when he was fighting, and it wasn't no crowd in the audience, and it was you could hear everything. How you would play around with your kids saying, "I'm gonna hit you like No, 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 no. Benavidez fights like that. He's blunt like that when he's punching. He have bad intentions on everything that he's throwing. He's extremely fast. He has good timing. He can get away with mistakes because of his speed and his volume. It's not a good thing for when fighters square up with their feet. I don't mind it when David Benavidez do it. Who else did that? Mike Tyson could knock you out with his feet squared up like that. Like he's just a special individual. And the other night, what Zurdo Ramirez didn't do was he didn't duck this special individual. Zurdo could have went another direction. David Benavidez wasn't the mandatory. When the challenge came on, Zurdo accepted it. He knew exactly what type of smoke he was in with because they did tons around sparring. So I say all that to say sometimes you have to tip your hat off to a guy. David Benavidez is beyond the real deal. Anyone that's in the ring with him at any weight division is in trouble, even if you beat him. Even if you beat him, you're going to be sore for a week or two straight. Even if you beat him, you're not going to come out unscathed. This guy's a dangerous man in the division. What division? Any division that he's in.
Right. With all that said, when the first knockdown came, and I've said this on our post-fight show, I felt like this could be a time to throw in the towel.
Right.
Let me qualify that
Yeah.
because I understand he's the champion. It's his division. He's probably going to be super pissed off if he looks up and that towel is in the ring. And even us pundits would be like, oh, you know, they cut the fight short and maybe be disappointed that you don't get a more definitive stoppage or a highlight reel. But I felt like in that moment, I knew that this was highly unlikely to go any other way than having Benavidez with his hand raised, and probably either going to be a really brutal 12 rounds that Zurdo doesn't come through, or he gets hurt. Now, in the corner, again, I'm not putting it on you. I know you can't throw in the towel if the fighter at that moment in the first knockdown wants to continue. I know you can't if he's champion and doesn't come back to the corner and tell you that. But what are you feeling when you see that first knee taken and see the direction the fight's going?
I knew how serious and I knew how much trouble Zurdo Ramirez was in because if you know Zurdo Ramirez, he's known specifically by me. I've seen him box heavyweights, light heavyweights, cruiserweights, everything. I've never seen him hurt in fights. No one has ever seen him hurt in fights. No one has ever seen him hurt in sparring. When a man like Zurdo Ramirez is knocked down on his knee, it's not rushing to get back up, you know, like, uh-oh, he's experiencing something he's never experienced before. And his conscious and his mentality is separate. Like, if you know what I mean. David Benavidez has the type of speed and power that could do that to you. Like, it's not about what you want with him. It's about how he's making you feel. So if he knocked you down, he have separated your conscious from your natural mind. So Zurdo was down there, and I'm not thinking to stop the fight because it's the first knockdown. And beyond giving someone the benefit of the doubt because they're a champion, I also have to consider the character of the fighter. Zurdo Ramirez character, like he's always in a fight. So at minimum, he deserved to be given be given a shot or given a chance. But saying that, Radio, at the same time, he got through that round. And then to me, the next round, I commend Zurdo because he didn't have a bad round that next round after that first knockdown. I was very like to if that wasn't the end of the round, that first knockdown, Benavidez would have been all over him. And we probably wouldn't have got to the rest of the fight. But when a guy is down like that and he's hurt, the first thing I do is I take the character in mind. Second thing I do, I keep in mind the energy level of the opposition. So just imagine your fighter is down. And what round it was, the first round, the first
Fourth,
knockdown,
fourth round.
fourth round. And it's only the fourth round. And we know Benavidez is fresh. So now you got to commence. Like if your guy is wounded and he's hurt, and it's a lot of time left in the round, and Benavidez is over there waiting for him. You got to consider all of that. And not only do you have to consider all of that, guys, this is where the tough part is. You have to consider all of this in very short time. Trainers get no credit for this type of stuff. All of this stuff have to be considered in the midst of seconds. Should I throw in the towel? Should I? But Zurdo Ramirez have a very caring father that we always keep close to the team. And after the second, I believe, knockdown or somewhere I remember in the fight, he actually came to the corner and himself said, come on, let's do the right thing here, guys. And Julian was already like, I'm stopping it. And then the dad came over and said, and then, it was over. But there I can't lie, even being in the other corner, I was very impressed with Benavidez. And we've all seen him do good performances before, but I would say the yard fight and this fight is the best Benavidez I've ever seen. This dude's a serious threat, serious threat. And um, we have the Bivels, we have the Better Beeves. I think he stopped Better Beef personally. I think Bivol could possibly give him a little trouble because he has good feet and good decision making. Um, him going up. Right after the fight, guys, I walked over to Tom Brown and I said, he's special, Brownie. Take him up to heavyweight and get him to challenge Usyk ASAP. I did in the ring. I
You
did it
done
in the
touched the
ring.
nerve.
I did it in the ring.
Touched the nerve on this
I
show,
said,
man.
I said, don't do it, man. Just have him go up and fight Usyk, man. And Tom Brown said he'll beat him too, Malik. I said, just get him up there to fight him. A spirit like David Benavidez and a skill and a power and a volume like his, he's so dynamic and so good. The only thing you can think about is who would challenge him, who can beat him. We're not even considering like who he can beat no more. It's almost about who he can challenge. He almost got the Shakur effect to me right now. Like when I think of Shakur, I don't even think about him getting defeated. I want to know who can really push him. Like this, how Floyd kind of was in his
So
time. Like
Malik, that means you pencil him in over Bivol and Opataya then?
I think no. A lot of people, Sean, what you know this, Sean, you do too, Radio. A lot of people, when they watch fights, especially like when fighters have outstanding nights, they could get ahead of themselves. I don't want to get ahead of myself. I'm gonna try not to, even though I'm super impressed with Benavidez. It's hard not to
That
get
it's a
ahead of
walkover
yourself.
bout, but you would favor him over those guys right now after what you saw, or not necessarily?
Sean, listen to what you're saying. We haven't seen Bibble since when?
Since February. Coming off
So
some injuries, grueling
right.
rounds with Beterbiev.
And how old is he?
Um,
Bibble. How old
35.
is he's 35. And to me, Opataya has knockout power, experience. He's a better boxer than even people like myself give him credit for. He's not just power, he has more to his game. But I think you have to have knockout power to get Benavidez respect. And out of those two, the one that has the power is Opataya. Um, pardon me. I think if Bivol tried to challenge him, see, Bivol decision making is so good though. He won't give you your game right off the rip. You'll have to earn it. I really don't know who I would pick under those circumstances right now. But if I just don't know. I don't know. And that's how good Benavidez is. Benavidez is. You know
Wait a
why?
minute.
You know why I don't know? No, no, no,
Uh,
right. I didn't say he could beat Usyk. I said bring him
okay,
up there to
that's what
challenge
I
him.
was
I knew
about
where
to
you was
say.
going.
Like, wait a minute, he's beating Usyk, but not over Taya?
No, I'm saying like entertainment values. When we have someone like this special in boxing, I think we should like, aim for the stars with this guy, man. Like he's a rare talent. He's a rare spirit. Like really get him out there and like really put him in the highest of challenges because he has the body type, in my opinion, to compete with a heavyweight like Usyk, to compete with a heavyweight like Moses Atama. Why? Why? Because I'm considering size range. I wouldn't say put him in there with Anthony Joshua. I wouldn't say put him in there with the guys that's a Vladimir Klitschko, nothing like that. But at certain times, fighters come through the cruiserweight division where they're so special. You say, who's the champion of the heavyweight division right now? A small Evander Holyfield? A Johnny Ruiz? Let's get Roy Jones up there. He's in a time right now where you think of who's the best heavyweights right now in the world. You think of Usyk, you think of Moses Atama. He has the size, the spirit, and the talent to compete with those guys. So all I'm saying, and what my comment was to Brownie was like, let's keep this thing going. We have a real live movie right now going on, but it's in real life, and his name is David Benavidez, and he's the real deal. And I went in this fight confident that my guy could challenge him and basically possibly take him to a place he's never been. Guys, keep in mind, no one has ever done that to Zurdo. Zurdo is
Yeah,
known for
never been
having
down
one of the
before.
best. He's never forget. Yeah, he's never even been down
50
before.
fights. Yeah.
No one has came close to doing that. Forget doing it. They never even came close. David go in there and get in done in 6 rounds the way he did it. I just think he's very, very special, man. Like very special. Like, and I'm talking about spirit wise, character wise. Like even his trash talking is a bit different. It come across a lot more believable. It's not for the clicks. It comes across a bit more. No, I really feel like this. This guy is great. I'm testing myself because I think I'm great. I want to see if I'm as great as I think I am. Put me in there with the best. He's not
Let me,
like
let me
it's
let me ask you one more question about this knockdown and then get Sean in there for a
yeah.
few. I made this point, this orbital bone injury is seeming to be more and more frequent in boxing. I have read, I'm not sure it's true because I didn't see it from a reliable source, but I did read that Nagatani might have had
Yep.
orbital bone
Yeah.
injury as well. So if that's true, and Zurdo, and then of course, against Joe Joyce, we saw that from Dubois, and on the heels of that, everybody called him a quitter. He was on the same knee. He had the same injury. I'm not hearing any of that, and rightly so, about Zurdo. Well, what do you think is the difference between the way people perceive what happened with Zurdo, where I've literally heard no one say anything about being a quitter, and nor should they,
Mm.
but the way they responded to Dubois, who had the same injury, same knee, essentially the same situation, fight he couldn't win off that injury. What do you think is the difference in the way people perceive these two?
Well, one, Dubai, the jury was out on him for doing that. He did that against Joe Joyce, one knee, and he did that against Usyk in the first fight, one knee. But sometimes too, radio, there's a thing in boxing where like, the snowball effect is happening where people just hop on board and go with it because it's the thing to say. There's nothing to me quitter about Daniel Dubois. Like nothing. Joe Joyce, he had one eye. People really want you to like Yo, he had one eye. The eye was shut. He went on one knee. He never experienced that before. But then he came back and was in even tougher fights after that with Jarrell Miller and went through them stars perfectly. Crickets. People was very quiet about that. Then he gets in with Usyk. Even when he got knocked out by Usyk, people still said he was a quitter. Sometimes when there's a thing out about you in boxing, people just hop on board so they can have something to say. Like, you know what I mean? That's the only difference, in my opinion, with Dubois and Zurdo. Like, there's never been no jury out of on Zurdo being a quitter. There's never been a hint of him ever being treated the way he was treated. There's always been this thing about Daniel Dubois, like, yeah, he's big, but he's a bit, heartless at times. He's a bit scary at times. He can punch this thing, but it was a jury out on him. So when people seen him actually quit with one eye basically closed, they of course call him a quitter. When people like myself are saying He had one eye and was trying in the 10th, 11th round. He just couldn't go no more, lived to fight another day. Why did he live to fight another day? Because after that, he came back with two or three of the best wins of his career. So so what is people talking about? If you're a quitter, you're a quitter. It's not like he quit and then didn't do nothing after that. So what is he when he showed courage against Jarrell Miller that was trying to break him? What was he when he fought Hakovic where he was in? Was he a quitter then? People need to stop that. They said the same thing about Larry Holmes at the beginning of his career. He's a quitter. He quit in the Olympic trials, this, that, and the third. Who is Larry Holmes? One of the best that ever laced him up. So that becomes a people thing. And in boxing, everyone has a platform so people could just say anything and it'll get some traction. It's not about what's true. It's about what gets traction. And what gets traction with Daniel Dubois is, oh man, he quit before. Yeah. First of all, he didn't quit. He was in a health situation. And some people say, well, some fighters fight through that. Yeah, but then some fighters don't. And then some fighters that don't still go want to do great things in boxing that take courage to do. Like, you understand what I'm saying? So it's almost like they're saying that, but Dubois is in title shot after title shot. They're saying that, but Dubois is a former heavyweight champion of the world. They're saying that, but Dubois go out and knock Anthony Joshua out at a sold-out Wimbledon. Somebody's lying, but Dubois is constantly on this ladder climbing up, being successful. So it's all we go off of what we actually see, or we go off of what's supposed to be so called clickbait entertainment. I never go off of that. I only go off of what I see. And Zurdo Ramirez don't even know how to spell the word quit. Zurdo Ramirez is the type of character or man that if you see him down, it's because the opponent have separated him from his conscience, have separated him from his courage, have separated. He had no control. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes fighters ain't getting knocked out. If a fighter get knocked out, I done heard people say, oh man, that wasn't that good of a shot. Come on, bro. How you gonna say that wasn't that good of a shot? I'm sorry, Bernard Hopkins hit Oscar with the perfect liver shot, and y'all think Oscar is a quitter because of that? If you know anything about boxing, you know that liver shots is the shots that get the job done. But for the sake of clickbait, let's just get something out there. They could go with all this type of stuff. So some of that just come with this game. We signed up for it as fighters, coaches, analysts, everything. And, this what just comes with it. If you can't handle this ain't the sport for you. Like, what I mean? I love this sport. I even love stuff like that come with it. And I do because I know how to separate from what's true and what's entertainment. You know what I mean?
Malik, man, forgive me, brother. I'm gonna be a little long-winded because I want to pack it all into
Take your
one
time. I'm
kind
here
of
for you, brother. Yes.
one kind of package for you all together. So
Mhm.
it's great. Like when you're talking about how special Benavidez looks Saturday night, there, you know, being there in person and you're up close, literally in the corner. Sometimes it's even more mesmerizing than what can be captured through the screen itself. So what was
Yes.
crazy about Benavidez at cruiserweight? I was in the same arena a year ago when he beat David Morrell. You guys were dealing with a different monster. Like no wonder you thought your guy had a shot because he brought something a level or two up from what you saw on
Above.
tape. Yeah, like that. It was like well, we know what he is, but this is something out of this world. And the
Yes.
hand speed, he got faster at cruiserweight. Malik, I
Hmm.
mean, the hand speed was insane. So I said to Raheem on the show, I said, bro, he could have had the spirit of Eddie Futch, Emmanuel Stewart, Angelo Dundee, and Cuss all in the corner. Given and it was nothing that was going to be
Not
done
on the
that night,
night. Yes. And
But
we got to keep in mind, guys, real quick, Sean. We have to
yeah,
keep in mind is Zurdo Ramirez. They asked Zurdo Ramirez, what do he give himself on a scale of 1 to 10 concerning speed? You know how transparent he is? He said, out of 3, 4, I'm not fast. So now imagine you not already being a fast twitch type of fighter. You have good timing, but you're not fast. And then you get put in with the most fastest, most dangerous man in the world. So I believe Benavidez is fast, but he looked even quicker and faster to someone that's slow when he's in with someone that don't have speed. I seen speed when he fought Caleb Plant, not like that. I seen speed when he fought Morrell, not like that. And it's because he's in with fighters that's also fast twitchy. But when you're in there with a guy that is basically like a aura, he struggles with speed, he don't have speed, you're gonna look so much better. That's why I was saying earlier, guys, that I, I I'm very impressed with him. I don't want to, just get too in all of him because it ruins my study of a fighter when I get too in all of him because he's so good that I'm still, even though I'm not going against him again, I'm still looking for the loopholes in his game because that's just who I am. And he's the first fighter that I ever studied thus far since I've been in this game that everything he does wrong, it works good for him. It
Yeah.
sounds so weird. All his stuff he do wrong, it makes him better, if you know what I mean. The way his defense don't look clean, but he's getting hit with 2 out of 8 shots. He get hit more with the center shot here, flesh, right in the center core than he do in the head. Because he blocks punches with his arms, he uses speed, he make you miss, he know how to roll punches and come right back. Dude is incredible, man. Incredible fighter.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, yeah, the guys that make wrong right, we're talking Pacquiao, Young Ali, like, and I'm not
Yes.
saying he's that. He's got a long way to go to prove that. But those are the
Right.
kind of guys that make those flaws what they would
So,
appear to be work for them, make part of their
yes,
game. So
absolutely. I always had this thing shown with Pacquiao that he always would hop in off his feet. He always like hop in, hop in. And Marquez caught him one day and caught him actually hopping in off the rhythm step. Shout out to Barry Robinson, A Million Styles of Boxing. He caught him coming off the rhythm step and knocked him out cold. But it took so long for someone to do that. Everyone else just they were probably touching during them times. But Marquez really believed in somebody in his corner did they film study and checked the system of Pacquiao and noticed that that rhythm step we could make him pay off that. And they caught him directly as he was doing his usual rhythm and caught him, boom. Now, these things right here that we're saying about Benavidez and the challenges that we're putting in front of him thus far, he's going against people in the future that could make him pay for these mistakes that people like myself believe that makes him so good. Squaring up with your feet. Sometimes his chin gets up with his offense.
mhm.
Sometimes he waits for you to settle into his game to get off. What about when somebody offset that and don't never allow you to, set up or get off or run your 18 punch combination? Because to me, the only time he gets that going is when a fighter wants to just sit there and take a chance. You can't take a chance with that. Benavidez is the type fighter that little game fighters play in their head, that little rest game. Okay, all right, I did good. Now I can rest now. No, you cannot. And you really can't rest after you do good because he has a killer ego that once you do something to him, he wants to come and do it to you just as painful. So you can never rest. You got to be in the best shape of your life, mentally and physically. You got to put yourself through hell in training camp. You have to be used to tough times in life, just not in boxing. You have to be willing to go to that dark place that I really believe that Benavidez is willing to go in there. You have to be willing to match that as well. And if you can't match that, he gonna give anybody a handful that can't match that.
But that's why, despite all that, it's like because I'm the president of the Benavidez bandwagon for 10 years now, and
Yeah,
I'm also the United States chapter president of the Moses Saitama bandwagon, and I feel like Moses Saitama at 6'4", 250, he is the David Benavidez of the heavyweight division.
right.
And and David even said after the fight, heavyweight's a step too far. So I'm feeling like when you say he needs to be challenged, I feel like first things first, man. Bivol is unfinished business at 75. Then you got
I
Jairo
agree.
Pataya. And
Yep.
then 2 years from now, something like that, then we could talk about heavyweight. But I
Right.
feel like that's a step too far. Like
Right.
I want to see him finish unfinished business at 75 and then run it with Jairo Pataya first, man. I
Right.
feel like heavyweight is just too
Sean,
out there right now,
you
Malik.
know what I keep in mind? I'm with you 100%. But when I look at the structure of this young man's career and how if he don't make a move, he'll just be sitting around. There's a lot of fighters that waited on other fighters to fight them, and those fights never happen. And then these fighters go stale, and big fights don't happen. I just feel as though when you see someone at the way that he's performing and what he did to a fighter the other night that's never been done, the performance is what's making me say these things. The performance is what's making it is nothing else. Because when I see him fight like that, I need to hear people calling him out. He
Mm-hmm.
kind of got that Keyshawn effect a little bit to me. I hear y'all calling everybody out. I need people to start. One thing I must say, people could say what they want about Richard Torres
Opataya
South.
is. Opataya is.
Obataia is. Yes,
Yeah.
Obataia is, and he's very and he did it, I believe, actually to his face as well. You
Yeah.
take Obataia away, like what? Like we need some people calling this dude out, right? You know what I mean? So, like We just need it because even when Benavidez was talking the other day, post after the fight, he was saying that can him and Opatai even fight those Sean with this whole Zuffa thing? Because Benavidez is basically saying, I'm not going over there. I'm not doing nothing that's comfortable for them. They're gonna have to come over here. I'm not going out the country. He's very much in tune with the power that he has now, and I like how he's standing on it.
Let me pop this in because I want to have more of this conversation. But it would be remiss if I didn't ask you about your reaction to the replay, seeing this elbow smash Zurdo's face, and a lot of people, while giving credit to Benavidez for the rest of the fight, cannot get away from how devastating that elbow was. And do you think that that is a foul that should have been called, that could have changed the trajectory of this fight, being that it might be what you can credit that injury to? What do you make of this issue?
Um, I'm very black and white with stuff like this, and I know this noble art, and I know how serious and how dangerous this game is. And to me, one, excuse me, guys, once you're in the ring, it's beyond a fight. That's why I'm always using the term no silent agreement. That's why I'm always preaching physical boxing. That's why when I train fighters, they also have to go to my grappling coach. It's because these referees are in there to protect you from fouls or whatever. But a lot of these referees will get you killed in the ring as well. I say that to say we had, to me, in my opinion, the best referee in the game right now. What's my man name?
Was it Thomas Taylor?
Thomas Taylor. To me,
Yeah.
he's authoritative. He's on point. Um, and he did a great job the other night. I don't believe that Benavidez did that intentionally, but I do believe that he's a violent man. I do believe that he's a physical fighter. I do believe that he's in there fighting, and if things happen, they happen. Now, knowing that, whoever's fighting him next should be prepared for more than a boxing match. Because when you're in there with him, this is not just a boxing match. This is life and death. This is grueling. He's not going to let you be pretty. And if you get hit with an elbow, if you get hit up with a shoulder, if you get hit with a low blow, he's not going to apologize. You have to be prepared for a fight. So do I think it was intentional? No. But what I do think was intentional is the stuff that actually happen. 18 punch combinations is intentional. Rolling with the right hand and rolling with left hooks and coming back with beautiful right uppercuts, that was intentional. Constant pressure, that was intentional. Showing people you could fight off the ropes, backing up on the back foot was intentional. That elbow thing, I really don't like to touch on that because I notice like fighters in general and sometimes like see, and you want to know what's crazy? You know who you'll never hear address this elbow thing? Guess who? Zurdo Ramirez. Zurdo don't give a shit, man. You in there in a fight. Somebody hit you with an elbow. Bro, you in there with a fight. You in there fighting. Like boxing looks cute to people from the outside. But when you're in there, your life is on the line. I had this conversation with Ezra Taylor before we fought Willie Hutchison. Look at how Willie Hutchison fight. He's in there fighting, not just boxing. We going in there with someone that's fighting. And when I say that, I'm saying this is someone that's willing to use any attribute, any limb of theirs that they have to win a fight. And if you go in there with that mentality, knowing that, hopefully it'll make you bomb first. Hopefully it'll make you take the initiative.
You know what's not intentional?
Yeah.
Losing your IBF cruiserweight title in a Brandon Glanton fight on a new promoter's platform and getting a trophy instead.
Right.
What do you believe has happened now to the career of Opatai? We're talking about this potential matchup with Benavidez, and I concur with what Benavidez said. What's he going over there for? He ain't fighting for no Zuffa belt. Has Opatai taken himself out of the game in that sense? Like, what?
It comes across like that. Right. It comes across like that. And I also feel like once you make a decision, how I look at it like once Kazupa has made a stance on where they at with sanctioning titles, with boxing and the difference between them and the UFC blueprint, they have made a stance. As a fighter, if you understand that stance that they're making and you still decide to go over there and sign with them, unless they know something that we don't know, I look at it like it's your way of saying you're done doing things the traditional boxing way concerning sanctioning bodies, and you're ready to take on a new approach. Now, taking on that new approach, be aware now it's a possibility you done took yourself out of the game with some form of a lot of legacy, because these sanctioning titles have came with a lot of not have came come with a lot of legacy. When I was the Olympic alternate and I signed my contract with Main Events and Shelley Finkel, in my contract, guess what in my contract says? You get this amount and this amount. And then when you win your first title, sanctioning body name, then you get this amount. So people want to say these sanctioning titles not important. They're so important that it can affect your livelihood as also your legacy, because it's these waves is in contracts. My Main Events contract I have today, I can show you. It's like it says this in there. Win your title, get this. Title defense, get this. Undisputed, this. Here negotiations re-begin once you do this. So I understand why people can sometimes get frustrated and say it's too many champions in boxing. I also get that side too. You got the interim title, you got the world title, you got the another WBA, the WBA champion, WBA normal. I get that. That's frustrating a bit, but also we can't get it misconstrued that what these titles have done for like the little kid that come from North Philadelphia that always wanted to be a world champion. They did that, David Reed, and they did that, Mildred Taylor, and they did that, Bernard. Like, you know what I mean? So it's just so much, and that scenario I just gave you is all across the world. So just know that if you go over to Zuffa, which is a great thing, I want fighters to get all the opportunities they can. Just know the risk that you're taking from possibly separating yourself from the legacy that goes on in boxing concerning these sanctioning bodies,